what college football looked like 35 years from now, 3 years from now, 10 years from now. Next year, the SEC and Greg Sankey, commissioner of the SEC, talking about modifying the current college football playoff format, talking about modifying the schedules that the SEC would have to play, and then maybe getting themselves a situation where the SEC every year would play one opponent from the Big Ten. So things that would enhance the college football experience for players and coaches and also for fans. Are they flexing their muscles too much as you hear these conversations about expanding to 16 teams and the SEC and the Big Ten wanting some auto bids to fill a lot of those slots?
So it's interesting. On3 had what the 16-team bracket would have looked like last year had they just done straight seeding. You get conference champions, obviously, get the automatic bid, but they don't get seeded in a certain way.
So 5 plus 11, right?
Yes, this would be the 5 plus 11 model. So, the argument is, hey, we want 4 automatic bids. If you're the SEC, you would have got shorted last year. Because the 16-team model, if it's 5 plus 11, again, for listeners that don't understand what the 5 plus 11 is, that's the 5 conference champion, Power 4 plus the highest ranked group of 5, and then just 11 at-large bids. The SEC would have had 6 of those 16 bids. Georgia, South Carolina, Tennessee, Texas, Ole Miss, and Bama all would have gotten in. The Big Ten would have gotten 4. Oregon, Penn State, Indiana, and Ohio State. The ACC would have gotten more than they're allotted 2. They would have gotten 3. It would have been Clemson, Miami, and SMU. It's the rest that would have been out. Boise State would have been the only group of 5. Arizona State would have been the only Big 12, and then Notre Dame. So fighting for 4 automatic bids while giving away some other ones, in essence, is probably going to hurt the SEC and the Big Ten more years than not. So I think 5 plus 11 might be the way to go.
The question is, why would anybody feel like they deserve auto bids? That the whole point of the regular season is to find out where you stack up at the end of the year. And if you're saying, well, automatically we're going to put X amount of teams in from a couple of conferences. But look, there are the conferences where people watch those games and spend money on traveling to go see those games. So those things are components. But if you're going to say we need to lock things in regardless of how people have performed throughout the whole point of a season, are you not hustling backwards on what the competition is? Everybody who missed last year, they had a chance to get in. Ole Miss had a chance to get in. They had a couple of bad losses. South Carolina got hot at the end of the season. They had some bad losses. They got cheated once in an LSU game, but that's neither here nor there.
That's true.
LSU lost a few games along the way. So nobody is getting the short end of the stick now. So the question is, are the Big Ten and the SEC trying to stuff the stockings for their teams to always be front and center?
Yeah, I get it. You want to stuff the stockings, but if you had the original plan of 4 and 4 and 2 and 2, 2 of those teams would have got screwed and would have been out. Maybe they would have gotten the at-large bid. Maybe they would have not. But, if you just go 11 at-large bids and you can say, hey, here's 1 through 16, how it's going to work out, I think it's going to work out better for everybody else. And it'll be an easier understanding for fans. Like, we understand the NFL playoff situation. Hey, you're going to be a division champ is going to mean you host the opening game. The top seed gets a bye. And then there's 3 wild card teams, and there's 745 tiebreakers to figure out how you're going to get in that scenario. I think where people got upset last year, maybe more than anything with the 12-team playoff, was pretty simply, why is Boise State getting a bye and Notre Dame's not? Or why is Arizona State, who nobody had seen play until the playoffs, getting a bye, and other teams are not?
Right, they deserve to get in.
Yes.
And I'm okay with that automatic qualifying bid from the group of 5, because we don't know how good or bad they are because of the competition they might play. And then after that, the 11 other guys fight it out. And then you would have had an unbelievable 16 teams.
It seems to be counterculture to what the SEC is. We're the big bad SEC. We'll play anybody, anytime, and we don't need any help from anybody. And now you want to stuff it where you get automatic numbers of teams into the playoffs.
It just feels like they're trying to be a bully. And it feels like the Big Ten is, now that they know that, hey, we can compete, they're trying to jump on the bully train as well. And the problem is the ACC and the Big 12, they're the dorks right now in the corner that keep getting stuffed in a locker. And until they fight back, nothing good's going to come of it. You want to hear some of the opening matchups that would have happened last year? How would you like Oregon hosting Clemson in a 1-16 matchup?
I think we're all for that.
How about Miami at Penn State?
We would have been for that with Cam Ward.
Arizona State at Notre Dame.
There you go. You have a team that people didn't watch and a brand that certainly would make a good game.
How about Alabama at Ohio State in an opening round game?
Clash of Titans.
Yeah. Texas hosting Ole Miss. The problem is there were a bunch of SECs that would have been matchups. Well, Georgia would have played host to South Carolina.
So that's where I was going. At the end of the day, you're going to get a lot of SEC and Big Ten matchups that you either saw or would have seen in a regular season scenario.
Here's where I say I don't care, and I understand where you're coming from, home team. If I get a third matchup between, I don't know, Philly and Washington from last year, did anybody care and go, oh, my God, we've seen this game before? No. You just want to see the best. If I see Georgia replay Texas for a third time, so be it. Those games were pretty damn entertaining. If I saw Georgia play Bama again, I would have loved to see that.
Isn't there something wrong with that, though? And I just say, look, the schedule's a schedule. That opportunity existed last year with the potential of Georgia maybe seeing Texas 3 times. If Georgia beats them and then beats them in the SEC championship game and then they end up in the playoff and Texas beats Georgia in the playoff, yeah, you got to keep winning. But shouldn't you have some penance when I've beaten you twice and in a championship game? Why do you keep floating around for a chance to win a title?
Hey, it happens.
All right.
We have seen teams have to beat somebody 3 times in the NFL.
Yeah.
It happens.
It'll be a rare occurrence. So let it play out. They're the best. Let them go play each other.